Nanette, if hold on.
Hello?
Yeah, Nanette, if you wanted to test your microphone and camera, now would be the time.
Okay, great. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. And it looks like I can see me, so I'm hoping you guys can see me too.
We can.
All right, thank you. Oscar Gomez is also doing the presentation with me. So I see he's on the attendee list. Is he able?
Yeah, I'll bring him in.
Okay, thank you.
Hey everyone, can you guys see and hear me okay?
Yep, we sure can.
Okay, cool.
Thank you. Kuna, you can test your camera and mic if you'd like now also.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you and see
Loud
you.
and clear?
Yep, you're good.
All right, thank you.
Yep. Mike, I didn't know if you wanted to test your mic and camera as well, but I promoted you.
Sure, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Looking good.
Thanks, Chris.
Yep.
Are we all there? Are we ready to start?
Yes, our link should be live.
Okay. So, good evening and welcome to our May 11th, 2021 Vista Consolidated Meeting. The meeting is now called back to order. This meeting is being conducted utilizing teleconferencing and electronic means consistent with State of California Executive Order N-29-20. In the event a quorum of the City Council loses electrical power or suffers an internet connection outage that is not corrected within 10 minutes, the meeting will automatically be adjourned. Any items on the agenda that the council has not taken action on will be placed on a future agenda. So with that, we will have a roll call by our City Clerk, Kathy Valdez. Please conduct our roll call.
Thank you. Please state your here when I call your name. Mayor Ritter.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Green.
Here.
Councilmember Franklin.
Here.
Councilmember Contreras.
Present, sorry.
Councilmember Melendez.
Here.
All members are present. Also joining us are City Attorney Darrell Piper and City Manager Patrick Johnson.
Okay, in accordance with the Brown Act, I'd like to announce that as a result of convening simultaneous meetings, the members of the Buena Sanitation District will receive compensation of $147.75 for the district meeting pursuant to Buena Sanitation District Ordinance 2006-1. For members of the public that are participating through Zoom, you may raise your hand to indicate you'd like to speak by clicking the raised hand feature on your screen or by pressing *9 on your phone. Instructions on how to join the meeting through Zoom are provided on the agenda cover sheet. You may only speak on an item once, and public comment is limited to 3 minutes. So with that, we will go to the approval of the agenda by our City Manager, Patrick Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. There are no changes this evening.
And with that, we'll have our City Attorney bring us out of our closed session.
Thank you, Mayor. The City Council met this evening in closed session to discuss the items on CS1 on this evening's closed session agenda. No action was taken and nothing is required to be reported.
Okay, that's the Attorney Darrell Piper. I forgot to give your name. So with that, we have 2 presentations this evening. The first is a proclamation declaring May 16th, 2021 to May 22nd, 2021 to be Public Works Week in the City of Vista. And I will read the proclamation, and then Public Works Director Kuna is here to accept the proclamation. So the proclamation states as follows. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the City of Vista, the people of the City of Vista. Whereas these infrastructure facilities and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of the public works professionals at all levels of government and the private sector who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment and solid waste systems, public buildings and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas public works services provided by the City of Vista are an integral part of our residents' everyday lives. And whereas the year 2021 marks the 61st annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, the Canadian Public Works Association, and the 2021 National Public Works Association. The National Public Works Week theme is a stronger together, where the health, safety, and the comfort of our community greatly depends on these services. So now, therefore, the mayors and members of the City Council do hereby proclaim the week of May 16th, 2021 to May 22nd, 2021 as Public Works Week in the City of Vista. And with that, I will turn it over to Kuna. Is it Muthusini? I didn't pronounce your last name very well, so you can do that. Is it Muthusini?
It's Muthusamy.
I was close. Okay. Thanks, Kuna.
Hi, good evening, Mayor. I would like to thank the council for your recognition on behalf of all the staff in the Public Works Department.
Okay. Are we having an open house this year at the Public Works Department, or is that because of COVID we don't having that this year?
there is no open house in the public works yet this year
Okay.
due to the restrictions.
Oh, okay. Maybe next year we can do that again.
Yes, hopefully.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes?
if I might, I just wanted to thank Kuna and the entire Public Works team. They just do a fantastic job and make all of us on the council look really good with their fast response and great work. Thank you. Please pass our appreciation along.
Absolutely do. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, the next presentation is on the Alliance for Regional Solutions. And Annette Stam, who is the Chief Health Promotion Officer for Vista Community Clinic and President of ARS, which is the Allegiance for Regional Solutions. And Oscar Gomez, who is the Deputy Director of MAC and the Steering Committee member of ARS, will provide the report. So are they on? Yes, there's Nanette. I see her. Turn it over to you.
Yeah, good evening, Honorable Mayor and council members. Thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your agenda tonight to talk about the Alliance for Regional Solutions. We'll give a brief overview for any of you who may not be as familiar with who we are, and then also give you some updates about what we've been doing over the last couple of years. It's been a while since we've been here at a city council meeting. And with that, I'll turn it over to Oscar to kick it off.
Hey everyone, good evening, Mayor and council members. Next slide, please. So I'm actually here as a Vista resident myself, and Mac also moved to Vista last March, and a new member of the steering committee. So Nanette and I are going to take turns doing this. Our origins really started back in 2006, where we as an alliance were looking at homelessness in a way that brought collaboration together. As tends to happen with certain initiatives or issues, resources are scarce, so silos get created around those resources. And the Alliance really worked to break down those silos and get city partners and nonprofit organizations working together. Next slide. Our vision really is to be, and we are, a recognized leader in building community will to create a safe, thriving, resilient North County. And when we say will, it really is, as we've seen through COVID, the trusted messenger model. These are organizations that really do have roots in the community and can speak as a stakeholder in the community along with our residents. Next slide. The mission of the Alliance is to convene stakeholders to coordinate and advocate for innovative and real solutions to existing and emerging community needs. As Don Stump, the former president and also the CEO of Lifeline, talks about, the Alliance is really like the family table of North County, where we get together to discuss these issues and solutions for them. Next slide. I won't go over every one of these organizations, but I'm sure many of them are familiar to the mayor and the city council, from nonprofit organizations to public sector support. Amanda Lee from the city of Vista is a steering committee member. All of these organizations work together for the betterment of our community. Next slide. And this economic report in 2019, an economic report of the findings from 2018 was published around how Alliance member organizations make a deep economic impact to the North County region. And typically when you think of nonprofits, economic development, economic studies aren't really the first thing you do notice, but this study, if you haven't looked at it, we'd be happy to send it over. Does take a deep dive into the impact that our member organizations are providing to the North County economy. And it says here that 8,700 jobs are supported through our member organizations, and I believe only half of those of our member organizations answered the results. So that number is much higher. Next slide. Our actual direct and indirect impact to the community is in the neighborhood of $1.2 billion indirectly, and indirectly basically means we, just like, for example, Vista Community Clinic and MAC have a number of employees, hundreds of employees here in the city of Vista. Our employees live here and they spend their wages on local businesses. So there is a direct impact that we bring in through federal grants, through county grants, and philanthropic means, but it's also the indirect support that we're providing the community. And again, it's a really great report. And if you haven't seen it, we'll make sure that we get it to you. Next slide. The work of the Alliance solution, really the magic of the Alliance Regional Solutions really comes out of the different committees that we have, whether it's the steering committee that helps plan and promulgate a lot of the work that's going on, but also the Bridge to Housing Network that brings together a lot of providers in the space around homelessness. I used to be part of the Case Managers Network, and I would meet a lot of different organizations that together, it was really a great networking opportunity for us to collaborate, to work towards having better outcomes for our families. And we never stopped growing. Just recently, this last year, the Alliance for Regional Solutions convened a racial justice committee, and there's some really exciting work going on there. And there's some data that we're going to be going through around what kind of training opportunities we can create for our member organizations and for the broader community. Now I'll hand it over to Nanette.
All right, next slide. So in the last few minutes, I just want to quickly just highlight some of the work we've been doing and also thank the City of Vista for your continuous support, particularly of the Bridge to Housing Shelter Network. This past year, you provided $200,000 to this network, which represents about 9% of our overall budget. And I know in addition to that, you also separately help fund Operation Hope North County. So really just want to congratulate you and thank you for that ongoing support to keep these shelters running. Next slide, please. And this started out as winter shelter networks. We're really excited that we finally converted over the last probably a few years. We now have year-round shelters in Escondido, Carlsbad, and Vista, Haven House, La Posada, and Operation Hope North County. And also just making sure you knew that Operation Hope North County is actually the only emergency shelter for families in North County. So it really is a prized possession here in Vista. And thanks again for that support. Next slide. So in 2019 and 2020, which is our most recent fiscal year that we have complete numbers for, our network served 829 unique individuals through our 6 shelters. I won't go through all of these stats here. You should have this in your packet so you can review it later. But I did want to highlight the last 2 numbers on this slide. So only 9% of those 829 had been in an Alliance shelter the year prior, which means that we are, as we probably all know, seeing an increase in homelessness and new folks coming into the shelter system that hadn't been there in the past. And if you hadn't heard already, the Regional Task Force for Homelessness recently released a report showing that countywide homelessness numbers had doubled. And this is, during a pandemic when evictions were supposed to be really hard and other things, but we're still seeing a huge increase in homelessness. But on a positive note, of the 829, 247 individuals were successfully exited to stable housing, which really shows that through collaborative effort, through shelters, not only provides beds, they also provide case management to really help clients exit into stable housing. And that obviously is the ultimate goal with these shelter networks. Next slide. This, to be honest, is my favorite slide of this presentation because I really think it showcases the great work that a collaboration like the Alliance can do. The first point is around a coordinated approach that Alliance took. We heard about one-time funding from the state called HEAT to make sure that North County got as much of this funding as possible. We didn't want to have duplicated proposals or look like we didn't know what we were doing here in North County. So we band together with both city and nonprofit partners, and we're able to get over $1.8 million, which represented 23% of all the funding that the county received. And which was, I think, the highest amount that any region received. So that just shows when we come together and work as a team, we really can make a huge impact in North County. And the second point is really exciting too. About a year and a half ago, the Alliance helped form the North County Homeless Action Committee, which brought together elected officials from 6 North County cities, including the city of Vista and our own mayor, Judy Ritter. So thank you, Mayor Ritter, for your time on this. And we've had a great success with this committee. They successfully advocated to the county to bring 10 FTE mental health social workers to North County to work on homelessness issues around outreach and case management. These will be housed within the county, but city partners and Alliance members that are more directly engaged with homelessness efforts are actively working with the county to make sure that these new resources are used, get off the ground in a timely manner and used effectively so they don't go to waste. And finally, we just want to make sure you knew that the Alliance has, and all of our members, continued operating through COVID. Yes, we all had to shift what we're doing, but we didn't stop what we were doing. We really made sure that the Alliance could continue to support our members to get through this tough time. Next slide. I won't go through all these events, but we continue to host events. You can read more about them. If any of them pique your interest, please reach out and we're happy to give you more information on any of them. And just in closing on the next slide, want to thank you again for your support of this. And we really look forward to continuing to working with the City of Vista, both council member and staff, on these efforts in the future. And thank you again for your time. If you have any questions, Oscar and I are here to entertain them, and we might have some others attendees if we can't answer them that we could bring in if that's needed.
Thank you, Nanette and Oscar. I don't see any hands up for questions, but that was a great presentation, and we appreciate what you do for us here in North County. So yeah, Joe is clapping for you. So thank you for what you're doing. And so I guess seeing no other questions or comments, we will move on. But thank you for coming and giving that presentation to us.
Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you.
Thanks for both of you. Bye-bye. Okay, that takes us from there. We are moving to our consent calendar. The recommendations on the following consent calendar will be enacted in one motion unless an item is removed from the calendar. Any member of the public may remove an item by using the raise hand feature or by pressing *9 now. Items removed from the consent calendar will be considered immediately following adoption of the calendar. And we have 6 consent items this evening. Would any of the city council members like to remove an item? I see Councilmember Franklin.
Madam Mayor, I would move to adopt the consent agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Councilmember Contreras. Okay, so and do we have any requests from the public?
We do not have any requests from the public, so we'll close that opportunity at this time.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. So would time for our votes, I guess. So please have a roll call vote.
Please state your vote when I call your name. Councilmember Melendez.
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras.
Aye.
Councilmember Franklin.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Green.
Aye.
Mayor Ritter.
Aye.
The consent calendar passes unanimously.
Okay, that takes us to our one discussion item. We have one discussion item this evening. It's our fiscal year 2021 third quarter financial report. Our finance director, Mike Sylvia, will provide the staff report. And if any members of the public wish to speak on this item, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. And speakers will be called upon after the presentation. With that, I'll turn it over to Mike Sylvia.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and good evening, Council. Tonight we've got the fiscal year 2020-21 third quarter report. It's going to provide a summary of, in comparison of the general fund budget to actual results as of March 31st, 2021, 3/4 of the way through the year. Report includes proposed operating and capital budget adjustments for the city and amendments to the citywide classification and compensation index. Specific to the general fund, revenues and expenditures are consistent with budgetary expectations for the third quarter, even with the continued presence of the COVID pandemic. Significant amounts of cash receipts are not received evenly throughout the year, so we wouldn't expect to be at 75% at this time. And similarly, some of the expenses are more heavily weighted to the second half of the fiscal year and the summer accrual period as a part of our year-end closing procedures and financial audit prep. There are 12 budget adjustments tonight requested. 7 of them are in the general fund and 5 are in the other funds, and they're explained in detail in Exhibit 2 on pages 8 through 10 in the agenda report. The largest impact in the general fund is an increase of $1 million in transfers out expenditures to the housing fund, which recognizes the requirement of 20% of any successor agency loan repayments be transferred to the housing fund for funding of low and moderate income housing. And as for the other funds, in summary, the recommended budget adjustments represent a combination of grant funding recognition and associated appropriation of those awards, as well as reconciliation and rebalancing of general fund subsidies due to the pandemic. And so with that, staff's recommendation is for the City Council to receive and file the fiscal year 2020-2021 third quarter financial report and adopt 2 resolutions. The first one is for the city to amend the operating budgets for fiscal 2019-20 and 2020-21 and the capital budgets for fiscal years 2020-2021 and 2021-22. The second resolution is for amending the citywide classification and compensation schedule. And with that, I'm available for any questions that council or the public might have.
Okay, I think we'll hear public comments first, if that's okay. Oh, Deputy Mayor, is that okay for public comments first?
Yeah, public comments is fine.
Okay, so City Clerk Valdez, do we have any members of the public that wish to speak on this item?
We do not have anyone that would like to speak on this item, so we'll close the opportunity for public comment at this time.
Okay, with that, we will go to Deputy Mayor Green.
All right. Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. And thank you so much, Mr. Sylvia, for this report. This was my longest item of conversation with our city manager this year. And I just wanted to, the biggest number concern on my review of the budget was the page 16. You had the beginning, the original revenue estimate, and then the original appropriations estimate. And then at the end, there was this big transfer out to other funds of $8.2 million. So I wanted to make sure I knew exactly what that was, because anytime you spend $8.2 million in a line item, I want to know where that goes and how did we get from 77 million to 85 million. So I did receive the complete breakdown of what was going towards debt service of Prop L, what was going towards reserves, what was going to the senior nutrition subsidy, what was going to the wage subsidy and the facility maintenance subsidy. So just so everybody knows, I did a lot. We all do. We all review this budget in detail. So I reviewed it. I checked it. It looks really good. I even harassed the city manager a little bit about the city manager, budget over there, which he's well under his budget. Good job, Mr. Johnson. So with that said, I move that we approve the budget as submitted and adopt the resolutions as presented.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands that want to speak, but I would offer, okay, Councilmember Franklin.
I was just going to point out that I'm happy to repeat what City Manager Johnson told us earlier, which is that we have been able to bring all of our employees that were furloughed or laid off during the COVID pandemic. We've been able to offer all of them the opportunity to return to their full-time positions. And very proud of how we've been able to withstand a tremendous economic blow during the pandemic and come through it relatively unscathed because of really some strong financial decision-making that was recommended by management and supported by this council. So thanks to all of you who had a hand in that. We've come through in a strong position, and I'm very proud of where we're at financially. So with that, I want to second the motion.
Thank you. And seeing no further, Deputy Mayor, is your hand still up? Is that a mistake? Okay. Okay, well with that, then we have a motion and a second. So City Clerk Valdez, please conduct a roll call vote.
Thank you, Mayor. Please state your vote when I call your name. Councilmember Melendez.
Aye.
Councilmember Contreras.
Aye.
Councilmember Franklin.
Aye.
Deputy Mayor Green.
Aye.
Mayor Ritter.
Aye.
The item passes unanimously.
Okay, That takes us to our oral communications. This is an opportunity for the public to comment on agency-related matters that are not on the agenda. If any members of the public wish to address the city council, they may indicate so by using the raise hand feature or pressing *9 now. So Clerk Valdez, City Clerk Valdez, do we have any members of the public that wish to provide oral communications?
Yes, we do. The first is going to be Barbara Gordon. Go ahead, Barbara, you have 3 minutes.
Thank you very much for letting me speak tonight. Again, my name is Barbara Gordon. May is Mental Health Month, and I would like to share some concerning stories that have taken place during 2020 in San Diego County. John is an intelligent, handsome college student, 4.0 GPA, a scholarship, and a great family. Started dabbing marijuana at 14. 5 years later, he told his mother, "You said weed would hurt my brain, and you were right. It's ruined my mind and my life." He died by suicide 3 days later. A 23-year-old flight attendant ingested a marijuana edible, experienced trouble breathing, increased heart rate, panic attack, and died hours later. San Diego toddler died after eating one of his parents' edibles. 2 toddlers drowned in a backyard because their parents were too stoned to watch them. A grandpa with sleeping issues took marijuana at the advice of his grandson. He failed to wake up and was taken to the hospital as marijuana had interacted badly with his prescription meds. San Diego County Hospital data shows that at least 30 people are treated daily for marijuana use. I offer these few examples as another side of the marijuana picture. The number of illnesses, deaths, increased burden on the medical and treatment communities will continue to spike as the result of growers engineering the plants to the high THC potency never imagined possible. Given the myriad of risk of marijuana use to mental health and the harsh consequences of such high potency marijuana use, which I do not believe will outweigh the benefits of tax revenue. Thank you very much for letting me speak.
Thank you. Next is Becky Rapp. Go ahead, Becky.
Good evening, Vista City Council. My name is Becky Rapp. I'm a mother and a public health educator. I come here tonight to raise concerns regarding the exploding marijuana industry in and around our community. I attended the City Council meeting on April 13th when the budget and marijuana tax surplus money was discussed. I have to say, I was saddened when several council members were overflowing with excitement for the new money that was entering the city. As a parent, it is becoming harder and harder to educate our children on the harm and detriment a substance can have on their lives when the city is applauding and celebrating the money flowing in. With that being said, a couple council members did have some very thoughtful ideas as to what to do with the money, and I would urge the council to listen and follow their lead. Councilman Franklin suggested adding 2 new sheriff deputies. This would be a great start, as he also stated it would take adding 13 deputies to reach the ratio Vista was at 10 years ago. Franklin's other idea of adding another employee to the city's psychiatric emergency response team would be very wise to protect Vista from the negative impacts the marijuana industry can bring. Recently, medical societies stated, "We are very concerned with the long-term public health costs associated with hospitalizations and treatment for psychiatric addictive disorders, which could significantly outweigh any revenues that states anticipate would be received from marijuana taxes." I ask you to please consider the data and the long-term effects that will undoubtedly occur. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Kelly. Kelly, please state your name. Your last name, sorry.
Hi, this is Kelly McCormick, and I'm also a parent and the spouse of former military member. And I would just like to share some information because I know a lot of military families live in Vista. And of course, we're so thankful and grateful for their service. But I'd also just like to share a notice that came out today from the U.S. Air Force, but it also applies to all military bases. And they're reminding people not to bring any CBD-infused products onto military bases and not to use any CBD products because many of them have trace amounts of THC. And so they're reminding everyone that that is not allowed in the military. It's still federally illegal. It says it's just the latest example of the military branch underscoring its enforcement priorities. For military members, drug use and possession will have adverse career implications and administrative actions like loss of rank and pay, said Major Stephen Villari. If the case warrants more severe action, members could be subject to court-martial, possibly resulting in a federal conviction. And so they're reminding people even CBD pet shampoo or, hemp hair products could put them at risk. So I just wanted to share that public service announcement. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next is Judy Stang. Go ahead, Judy.
Good evening, Vista. Judy Stang here, grandmother of 3 Vista young people, and my son teaches in the Vista School District. I wanted to share some thoughts with you that I've been thinking about regarding the e-cigarette use by young people and the latest research that has discovered that the rate of vaping has increased significantly for young people over this last year. But a particular concern in this study that was published in the Journal of American Medical Association's Pediatrics. And again, over the weekend, the Associated Press covered this story. They mentioned of concern was that vaping of e-cigs, particularly marijuana cigarettes, has been unfairly distributed among minority populations. And their concern was particular for Latino youth. And I got to thinking about the population of Vista, which I believe is 50% Latino, and the fact that you have 11 pot shops there in Vista. And I just wondered where they're all located. Are they located in minority population areas? And if so, are they influencing the use of marijuana e-cigs, which is one of the main products of pot shops? And I wonder if it would be wise for you to ask the sheriff to do minor decoy operations of these pot shops and make sure that those products are not getting into the hands of our Hispanic youth. Thank you.
Thank you. We do not have any other speakers, so we'll go ahead and close public comment at this time.
Okay, that takes us to our remarks. So I will read my remarks and then I'll go to everyone else's remarks. I just have my comments. One is we're thrilled to welcome the public back to the Moonlight Amphitheater this summer. That is I'm so happy that that's opening this summer and very excited about that. We're reopening with concerts and movie nights and 4 summer season Broadway musicals. We start with Once on This Island, and then Beauty and the Beast, followed by A Chorus Line, and then followed by Gloria Stefan On Your Feet. So that's going to be an exciting program all those programs this summer. So check our Moonlight site at moonlightstage.com for more information. And then one other thing, our Wave Water Park is also opening their splash camps. And registration is underway. So check the wavewaterpark.com website for more details on that. And they're going to do swimming lessons and other things at the Wave. So check online for that. So with that, I'll go through the list of you guys and you can all give your remarks. And we'll start with Deputy Mayor Green.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. All right, so a few things. Number one, this is the last Zoom meeting, Vista. So that means May 25th, come down to City Hall, see us in all of our glory. It will be great. So anyways, last Zoom meeting for us, and we'll all be in person. The number two thing is I do serve on the RISWA committee here regionally, and I also was serving on the regional or the RISWA finance subcommittee. A lot of you don't know, but RISWA has been handling the finances of the 7 sister cities for over 7 years. And we were able to negotiate for those finances to go to another city starting in 2022. So I know Mike Sylvia will be extremely happy. And for the final year, we were able to get a small stipend for our financial department for handling that. So that was something good we did. Number 3, Public Works Week. I just want to echo Councilmember Franklin. Thank you so much, Kuna and the Public Works team. You guys are out there making us look good so often. Every time we call something up, whether it's a street light or a pothole or anything you could possibly think of, a flooded area. I mean, we're calling you guys all the time. You're out there making it work. Specifically, my man Andy, Joe, Kat, G-Man, Roger, and Timmy, always rolling around District 2. Thank you guys. Number 4, the Moonlight. It does open June 16th. I love the Moonlight. I get to sing out loud. Don't sit too close to me. And then last but not least, Taco Tuesday. That's right now. So make sure you get out, have some tacos in the city of Vista, and thank the Lord that you live in an amazing city. Thank you so much to my colleagues for an amazing night and a great discussion in closed session and in the meeting. Hope everybody has a great couple weeks.
I think our city manager is going to announce there was an issue, so we're not. This is not the last Zoom meeting. So
I'll jump in real quick and just say that Deputy Mayor Green is correct. Next meeting, we're planning to be in the council chambers on May 25th. However, we are planning to have one additional Zoom meeting on June 1st at 5:30 p.m. for the Climate Action Plan. And the reason that this meeting is going to be held via Zoom is because that's the only way we can get the council together for that special meeting. So there will be one more, but we will be in the chambers next meeting.
Okay, so with that, I will move to Councilmember Franklin.
Nothing further to add this evening. Thanks, Mayor.
Councilmember Contreras.
It was a short meeting. Some really important information, though, before the council. And, just very thankful to this council and previous councils for being so financially prudent. And the fact that we do have new streams of revenue, it really makes a big difference in our city here, especially when we're discussing, what we can do to better our community and have more well-being. So I'm really thankful. Public Works, amazing. And you know what? Tomorrow I'm doing my trash pickup at 9 a.m. at Lee's Duran. And guess what? After we pick up our trash, who picks it up? It's Public Works. So I really, really appreciate you all my coworkers on Public Works. They bring it 110% every time. And I know the city is very thankful. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good, fantastic rest of your day. And I'm really looking forward to some tacos because I'm really hungry right now. I had a good swim. I'm getting tan. I'm getting my tan back. So I'm ready for the next council meeting. But I swam a lot and I need some tacos now. So.
Okay. Councilmember Melendez.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you to my colleagues on council and to staff. I didn't have much to comment on when our discussion item came up, and I was happy that we could approve and move forward with the financial reports really easily. I just want to say a big thank you to staff for all their hard work. You have been very diligent. And it really does show in how our city has been able to move through such a difficult time. Had a really great conversation with our city manager over this agenda regarding just our financial health of our community and making sure our local economy is really strong. So I encourage you, yes, take advantage of Taco Tuesday, go out, enjoy our eateries, let's celebrate, go to the Moonlight. And in doing so, I had the pleasure and the exciting opportunity to get my vaccination at our local community center at Linda Rhodes Community Center. And that was a really smooth, easy process. So I just want to encourage everyone, if you have not yet done so, It is a very comfortable and easy to navigate situation there at Linda Road Center. So glad that we have that resource available right in our backyard within walking distance. So you can make an appointment for your vaccination at myturn.ca.gov. I would encourage everyone to do that so that we can continue to celebrate all of our success in getting through this really difficult time. Everybody have a great night.
Okay, our city manager, Patrick Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a few updates. And speaking of vaccinations, yes, Linda Roads is an option for Vista residents. Also, the county has added night hours for those who want to get their shots after work. You can do it by appointment. You can do it by walk-in. The nearest North County location, though, to do it at is the Oceanside North Coastal Live Well Health Center. So that is certainly an option if you need to get it after work. You can go to the city's website at cityofvista.com and click on COVID-19 for more information if you need it. I would also like to acknowledge Public Works and thank all of you for applauding Public Works. Next week for our residents is a great time to think about what they do in our community, from road work to sewer infrastructure to city facilities, park maintenance, you name it. They do a great job improving the infrastructure for the city. So thank you to Public Works. And in terms of shelter beds, today, La Posada doesn't have any available shelter beds, and New Haven has 5 shelter beds available. La Posada is serving 10 Vista residents, though, today currently. So that is good news that they've opened their available beds up to Vista residents. And my last item is happy birthday to Councilman Franklin, who has a birthday next Monday. So just wanted to say happy birthday.
Thank you.
Very nice. Okay, how about our city attorney, Daryl Piper? I think you're muted.
Thank you, Mayor. Looking forward to the moonlight. And apparently happy birthday is again in order. Thank you.
City Clerk Kathy Valdez, anything?
Nothing to add. I echo what everyone has said about the moonlight, and happy birthday to Councilmember Franklin.
So that brings our meeting to a close, and so we are ready to adjourn. So everybody have a good Taco Tuesday, and I will see you next time. Bye.
Have a great night, team.